Welcome back to RBR, guys, and standing next to me, it's finally that time, 8th generation of BMW 5 Series. And there you go, look at that. What a huge leap forward for the 5 Series. I mean, so much modern BMW DNA in this. So that was the first look that I had of the car as well. There's two variants I have here today that I'm going to show you. This is the first one I saw. It is the M60, so the top level electric 5 Series available. And just, I want to give you some top level details. You can see immediately you've got like a very classical saloon shape, but your eyes are drawn to the front where you've got the iconic glow that's coming into our newer BMW models now. The good news is we've got a traditional looking BMW grille here, so they haven't gone the route of the 4 Series. This is very similar, I think, in terms of the shape to the previous generation, but obviously now brought into the future with this iconic glow. Lights still very like traditional BMW, which is nice. M Sport, lower end, looking very much like 3 Series, that's all nice. I'll show you more of these details later. For now, just the general look. Look at the side of the car. That is a traditional shaped 5 Series, okay? But remember, this is an EV, the one I'm standing next to as well, so it's a traditionally shaped EV, which is great. These little things really pleased me about the 5 Series on first view immediately. As I said, we'll look more in detail. The inside, oh, that is nice. Do you want to see it? Have a quick sneak peek. Go on, have a look at that. Very much inspired by like 7 Series. Love the steering wheel that I'll talk about. Lots of details in there. I'm not going to show you too much. Come out. You've seen too much. Then we come around the rear, which again, very traditional BMW sedan, right? The lights, there's not a massive change going on here. They're quite slim. You've got your carbon spoiler here. There is a secret about this lower diffuser to do with the combustion cars that I will tell you later in the video. And you just look at that rear 3/4, just gives you that initial kind of look at the new 5 Series from the rear. Pretty interesting, huh? So guys, the G60 finally here, 8 generations of 5 Series later, and huge changes. The biggest news here is, it is the first ever fully electric 5 Series. It's not just electric, because you get electric alongside combustion with mild hybrid, and in the future next year, plug-in hybrids as well. So all 3 of our propulsion methods available in the 5 Series almost from get-go. And the best thing is, the body, it doesn't change. It's just a 5 Series, which is absolutely the right way to do it. Right, today I've got 2 versions of this car to show you. First is our entry-level EV, which is the i5 Xdrive 40. This is a rear-wheel drive EV. And the second one is the range-topping M60. Again, also an EV. But don't fret, because if you want the combustion version of the car and you want to know more about that, you're in luck, because it looks identical to these. So don't worry, I'll also fill you in fully on the combustion car. So today, we're going to look at every single detail outside on this brand new version of the 5 Series, the huge changes inspired by the 7 Series inside the car as well. Then I will also fill you in on the technologies that power these cars, both electric and combustion. And finally, we will talk a little bit about the future in terms of touring and, of course, my favorite topic, BMW M. So let's dive in and check out this brand new generation G60 5 Series. So guys, today's episode of RBR is sponsored by returning sponsor, The Ridge, the company that redefined our expectations of the wallet. And they're back with an absolutely awesome new addition, which is the first ever pure leather Ridge wallet. It's also the perfect gift for this Father's Day. I can't wait to show you. Let's open it up. So guys, I've got 2 versions of the Ridge leather wallet here. One is the brown leather version, which is gorgeous, and the other is midnight black. Let's get this open. Oh, wow. That is lovely, look at that. And this has had 18 months of development. It's the same great design as our classic. There's my awesome forged carbon with the red details, which was such an amazing version that they did. But this brown leather, this has been designed so it patinas as well, really well. You can replace the screws, lifetime warranty, just like your other Ridge products. You can fit your cash in here. And of course, this has the same great RFID blocking technology to protect your cards from wireless thieves. Pop in my cards into the leather one as well. Doesn't bulge out of your pocket like a standard wallet either. So guys, that's the new Ridge leather wallet. I can't wait to see what it looks like when it ages. It's got that great 99-day test drive as well that you can take, and the same lifetime warranty because Ridge are so confident about their products. Use the link ridge.com/RBR. Only the link will work, so make sure you go to that link, ridge.com/RBR. You'll get a great deal on these. Perfect gift for Father's Day, like I said, one that will stand the test of time and be used every single day. So, huge thanks to Ridge, and now back to the episode. So guys, it's scary to even think that we've had 8 whole generations of 5 Series. That's mad. That's how long this king of the mid-size segment has been around. And let's be fair, it has really been the king of that segment for so many years now. But now it's the first of at least the major ones to go fully electric for the first time. And right from the off, right at launch, right at market launch, the i5 will be available across the world. And it's interesting to me, and it's really a point to celebrate, the fact that this EV version of the 5 Series looks identical to the combustion version. It's a really interesting take because when you look at direct rivals like Mercedes-Benz, they've gone for a totally different approach where they have something like this, where the EQE exists. That is a completely different car in every way, truly, to the brand new E-Class. And that honestly puts a lot of customers off having a totally alien car where you have to make a compromise between the combustion or the electric variant and what you want the car to look like. The 5 Series isn't like that. You buy a 5 Series, it looks like a 5 Series. Doesn't matter if it has a battery, doesn't matter if it has a combustion engine. Right, now we're going to do a bit of a techie deep dive under the skin to see what has changed in terms of the big things in this new generation. Now, first of all, the CLAR platform has been heavily upgraded. Before it was using carbon fiber as a material mix. Now we've got a mix of traditional steel, titanium and aluminium for a whole new platform here that is slightly lighter. And of course, this is a modular platform that will now allow the use of electric, combustion or hybrid within it, within the same car body, taking much of the same idea as the new 7 Series has as well, where that maintains also the same look across every single line. The car has grown in size, however, so it's a longer car now by about 9 centimeters, about 3.5 centimeters wider than its predecessor as well, and a slight bit higher. But the good thing is, it's still that classical 3-box luxury sedan look. Now, at the heart of the matter for the EVs is the 81.2 kilowatt usable power of the battery that sits nice and low in this traditional saloon sedan-shaped body. I love that, you know, that we have a traditional body with a huge electric battery. And then in terms of the actual electric motor, we've got the latest 5th generation of BMW eDrive, as we've seen in the 7 Series and in the iX. And this actually differs to what we're used to in, say, things like the Taycan or in Mercedes' offerings, where they have a permanently synchronous electric motor. BMW don't do that. They use an electronically excited motor, and they say it doesn't need to have rare earths in it in order to activate any magnets. The power density thus is higher, so it gives more output, which is quite interesting. But the great thing about the 5th generation motor here is that it also combines with our power electronics and the transmission into one unit. So it's actually a very clever little unit. Now, in terms of how that powers our cars today, we're going to start first with our eDrive 40. Now, this is a rear-wheel drive car, so it only features one of those on the rear. The eDrive 40 has 340 brake horsepower, 430 Newton meters when using the Sport Boost feature that I'll show you later on, and a 0 to 60 of around about 6.1 seconds. So not bad for your entry-level EV. And range with that battery is pegged at around about 580 kilometers WLTP. So in reality, it's going to be less than that, but that is a pretty good range for a daily car. And then we come to the top of the pillar for 5 Series, at least for now, and I'll explain the other one, the M5, in a minute. So stay tuned for that, I'm going to explain that. This is the M60, which is their top level EV for the 5 Series. And this is a very powerful version because it has 2 of those eDrives, one larger one in the back and a slightly smaller one in the front, together with the battery producing almost 600 brake horsepower, 794 Newton meters. And if you use the Sport Boost or launch control, that goes up to 820 Newton meters, and that will hit 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, which is damn fast for a saloon of this size. And then the range is pegged around about 500 kilometers, again, WLTP, so probably a little bit less, but that's a fast EV saloon in a traditional shape with a decent amount of range. Of course, fast charging also available in the 5 Series. So if you're at a state of charge around 10%, you can add 156 kilometers of range in just 10 minutes. Again, you know, really, really useful for a daily car. Then we come to our combustion cars, which are all linked to a new 8-speed Steptronic. And at launch, we're going to get, in the UK at least, the 520i 4-cylinder, and in the rest of the world we'll also get the option of a 520d and one with Xdrive as well. The i is up to around about 200 brake horsepower, and the diesel is not far away either. Now, of course, this is a 5 Series, so the chassis has been upgraded by BMW, and there's some interesting model-specific stuff here. For example, our wheel slip limiter sits closer to the actuator now, so you know, quicker reactions coming from that. We also have, as standard now, sports variable ratio steering, which is great, or you can get the new integral steering, which comes as part of an adaptive Pro chassis option. This comes standard on our M60 along with adaptive shock absorbers and an anti-roll stabilization system. So this is pretty much the best one that you can get for the 5 Series. In addition, there is a sports suspension option available, which will stiffen things up even further should you want that. And then finally, rear wheel steering of up to 2.5 degrees, which you might not think is a lot, but this was actually a technical decision by BMW. Them not wanting the car to feel like a forklift or a London taxi, they reduced that amount to be just enough to give a bit of stability in higher speeds and a bit more cornering in lower speeds, but not to ruin what they want to have as a, you know, a pure driving experience, because this is the ultimate driving machine at the end of the day. Now, apart from those variants of the cars, there will be plug-in hybrids coming next year in 2024, alongside, of course, a touring version of the car, which is going to look great. And it's really going to, I think, complement the looks of this car. I mean, who doesn't love a touring and a wagon? A huge market for us in the UK as well. Speaking of looks, I think now we need to focus on the looks of the car. But initially, the first thing is that grille. Now, this glow around it is called the Iconic Glow. It is optional. It depends on your territory how optional it is. So in the UK, our standard car, you don't get the Iconic Glow in the standard eDrive 40. It just looks like that. But if you get our M Sport Pro package, then the grille turns black, and then you get the glow inside it. And then, of course, the M60 gets it standard with a slightly different looking grille. So there's a number of different ways that that works depending on your territory. Then we've got the lights, which the more I looked at them, and obviously this is the first time I've seen the car, they kind of remind me a bit of the E60's lights, the way they start and then they taper upward. And really, I mean, that's where the similarities to E60 end. The one thing I think is similar is this type of, and I think it's a brave design, links to like Chris Bangle's idea of kind of pushing the envelope a little bit, which BMW are doing a lot these days. And I'm not opposed to that at all. So guys, really that first person view is really going to give you an idea of what this car looks like, which I cannot achieve just from B-roll. It's more like walking around the car, so you guys get an idea of what it looks like. It is a very traditional shape, but which is a great thing. You know, I've praised it for that. I do think that boot section is a little bit small. I think the roof raises quite a bit there. I'd like to see it directly versus previous gen, and the bonnet seems quite long as well. But generally, you know, that is traditional saloon proportions. We'll take a look at the rear in a minute, which I've shielded you from for the most part. Front 3/4 is nice. Like I said, that lower end reminding me quite a lot of M340i type M Sport package look, which is nice. Lots of gloss black. You've got your air intake at the bottom there. And like I said, the combustion car follows the exact same design language here. And then we've got the grille, which I hope you'll be jumping for joy, because for the most part, it's not of the same ilk as, you know, 4 Series, 7 Series, iX, etc. It is a traditionally shaped 5 Series grille. If I show you our other car in the eDrive 40, it's got an even more traditional looking one, with our slats going through our kidneys, and you don't need to have the glow in it, as I said, depending on your spec. So it can look even more traditional should you want it to. This grille here is specific for the M60, and you can see it's got a slat going through the middle with the M logo, and then our glow around the side. And of course this stays on while you're driving as per new regulations allowing that as well. I think it looks good. What I think looks even better are the lights. I like the arrow lights on the newer BMWs. It's still immediately recognizable as a Beamer, but you know, it's just enough update, I think. We get closer here. Yeah, those are some good looking lights. Of course, these are our matrix LED BMW lights as well. And these are available in a shadow line, which is a darker tint version, which will look even better. So like I said, lots of 3 Series to me at the bottom there, but at the top, the bonnet here is very kind of XM or even BMW M3 with this very defined cut around our BMW logo here and almost like a giant power dome going around our bonnet. That's impressive. It's very sporty. I like the look of that. Now, one difference that you will find between the combustion and the EVs, it's a hard one to find, is the reduced blue ring around the BMW logo. That will be the only difference, and you'll find that on the front bonnet and on the wheels and then on our rear badge as well. And that is really about it in terms of the differences between those cars. I wonder from this angle, can you see what I kind of meant about that E60 type light shape? It's definitely there, I think. The wheels are big, up to 21 inches available. These are the biggest ones that you can get. And these are aerodynamically enhanced versions. Of course, you'll have plenty of wheel options available and undoubtedly M performance parts coming in as well. But that's a good looking wheel. As far as the side profile of the car, not a lot of cuts, is there? It's quite a plain surface. You've got big wheel arches. But as far as the surfacing goes, quite uniform. Down here, you've got quite a significant cut next to our gigantic black lower side sill, which hides a lot of the bulk. And I did ask the question, you know, does the EV have more bulk because you've got the battery at the bottom versus combustion? And it doesn't. The side profile is the same. But one really interesting thing is over here with our Hofmeister kink. Check that out. You've actually got a 5 embedded within there. That will be polarizing, I think, in terms of opinion. I don't think it looks that bad. And there's a matching one right here on our B pillar, which I like. On top, we've got a full-size panoramic roof that flows from our front windscreen all the way to the rear, and that's uninterrupted inside as well, which I'll show you later. Carbon M Sport mirrors, of course, and then the flush door handles, as we've seen in every new BMW. These are good. They're not the type that eat your fingers up like the Porsche ones and the Mercedes ones. They're quite well designed. Again, that boot area looks a little small to me. Let's head around the rear and take a look at it properly. So as I come around the rear, I always like starting at that 3/4 view, so you kind of get an accurate depiction of what this car looks like in its stance from far away, kind of, you know, walking up to it. What does it look like? What do you guys think? Quite traditional. I like that. I like the fact that it's not alienating us, despite that this one is actually a battery electric vehicle. I'm not sure about the lights. I don't know what you guys think. They're certainly very reduced, very slim, very strong graphic within there. Are they a little bit too small for the rear end, or are we not just used to that yet, maybe? I'm not sure. Time will tell on that. And as I said, with the lower diffuser, that will stay exactly the same in the combustion cars as well. So they won't put fake exhaust on there. The exhaust will just point downwards, and you'll have that exact same look in your combustion variants as well. I do feel that this rear boot area, compared, you know, proportionally to the rest of our car, is a little bit small. Do you think I'm right on that? Do you think like the passenger section is, or the bonnet maybe is, you know, longer than we're used to, and the rear boot is a bit smaller? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Is it the illusion of having smaller lights? Tell you what does look good is the massive 21-inch wheels on the rear, really filling the wheel arch quite nicely. Then, of course, boot space, which is actually pretty massive. Look how deep that goes. Wow. Now, in the combustion car, you get a bit more space here with your typical storage unit down there, but generally, pretty even between the two of them. Between electric and combustion, you're getting, you know, similar amount. There's a load of space in there. Look at that. That's a long boot. That's really good. And of course, split folding as well, which is great. So yeah, you're not going to be wanting for space in the new 5, even if it's electric. Then, of course, over here, plug-in port. Yeah, in the right place. Very nice. So that's the design of your new M Sport package of the 5 Series. Let me know what you think. I think I really like it. I like the fact that it's a good-looking BMW saloon. Now, one thing I really wanted to do was actually compare this directly to its brand new rival. E-Class and 5 Series, new generations, always born, you know, similar kind of time. So they're always rival brothers. And the E-Class now is taking inspiration from the EQ range on the front, but generally actually quite a traditional looking Mercedes saloon. I'd argue actually a more traditional looking saloon than this new i5, which is taking risks, I think. It's taking risks in shapes, in, you know, the flush door handles that we've seen, the way that the rear boot is, you know, a little bit more compact, the overhangs are all a little bit more compact. I don't know, what do you think? Which one do you think is the more traditional shaped saloon? I don't know the answer. I'm kind of veering towards the E-Class a bit, but I don't know. Let me know what you think. Now, we have to talk about my favorite topic, which is BMW M. Now, of course, it's no secret we've heard the rumors of the M5, which is coming, which is, of course, given the day and age that we live in, going to be a hybrid. Now, what can we safely guess about a hybrid M5? I think we can safely guess that it's going to pull a lot from the XM that we recently drove, which means a V8 hybrid system linking their 4.4 litre recently updated V8 to their M hybrid electric system, which is actually quite a clever system that pairs a permanently synchronous electric motor to the gearbox, and then we've got a 25-ish kilowatt battery in the back producing, well, we saw in the XM we had 2 different variants, one up to around 600 brake and then one reaching 750 plus, which is probably where I think the M5 will end up. But the real question here is, it's going to be a heavier car. How will they weigh up giving it power versus not giving it too much weight? That's an interesting question. I don't know the answer for that yet, but I'm sure we will find the answer very soon. And I think it's going to look, with the design language of even the standard M Sport car, pretty damn mean indeed. So that's the future. Now, speaking of the future, the interior very futuristic, but I think they've really struck an interesting balance here between bringing it into the future, but allowing some nice sculptures. Let me show you what I mean. So how's that for a huge change for 5 Series? I mean, that is massive. Obviously, you can see straight away the influences from 7. To really drill this home, how much this has changed, let's have a look at the previous 5 Series interior directly versus this. And as you can see, it's a big change. Now, the key BMW feature for me in any BMW interior is having that slight, 8-degree kink towards the driver here of this central area, and you've got that here. You've also got the BMW interactive light bar from the 7 in here that I'll go into more detail in a second. You've got the new steering wheel, which is fantastic. I'm so happy about it, and I'll show you that in a minute. A really interesting shift paddle for this EV version here that I will also show you. But this whole operating system has been upgraded from the last time you've seen it. So this is 8.5 versus 8. Loads to show you in that regard as well. Some really interesting details in terms of how the vents are integrated into the dash, but just the structure, I really like the structure. Okay, with newer cars like in the Mercedes ones, we're kind of getting inundated with these huge screens and not a lot of structural, architectural interestingness in the interiors, if that's even a real word. But here, there's a lot going on. You've got the center console with this floating island element here with your drive unit, and Lord, praise the BMW design team for keeping the iDrive controller in here, and I will rant about that more later. But yeah, this is interesting. I like this. Sports seats standard, okay? You can option comfort seats, but BMW is all about being sporty, ultimate driving machine, etc. So the sports seats do come as standard. We've also got an almost uninterrupted, in fact, an uninterrupted panoramic roof here as well, like you saw on the outside, which is great. Really airy for our interior occupants as well. But now I want to give you the view that you care about, the first-person view. Let's take a look at this properly from the driver's perspective, because this is a driver's car. So here is your driver's view. I'm so pleased. Forget all of that stuff. I'm so pleased about this. This steering wheel, you guys know I've gone on and on about the previous gen steering wheel, how it's just too thick, not interesting, bit thick like me. But, you know, it just didn't have the kind of design, the sporty design that you'd find in the rivals like AMG or Porsche. This one, totally different. It's nice and slim, flat bottomed here. Look at the design here with, you know, it looks like it belongs in a TIE fighter or something. That's lovely. I like that. M logo in the middle. This is of course the M Sport version, this being the M60. The tricolor colors along our stitching. A nice smaller and reduced airbag, but still with lots of, you know, interesting lines around it. The combustion cars obviously won't have the blue circle in there. And actually the buttons, quite nice and tactile. So, you know, changing content in here, not difficult at all. It's not like you've got touchscreen buttons here. These are nice tactile buttons, which I'm very, very appreciative of. And you can see you've got shortcuts to music, up and down volume, mute, your call receiving, and then on this side, controlling your cruise control and the other modes regarding that all in here. Then you'll see an interesting one back here, which is the Sport Boost paddle. And this gives you 10 seconds of the full power of this car, which is really nice. It's a bit of familiarity in EVs. Again, like we have familiarity with the exterior, we've got it in the interior as well. That's thick as well, look at that. Reminds me of the M5 CS actually. So, steering wheel, big win, right? That's great. Then you've got the interactive light display here, which again, straight out of 7 Series. It merges a physical element with what you see in the screens in front of us here, but you get loads of different versions. So if we're currently in Expressive is what it's called. And actually you can set driving modes to this as well. So if I go into Sport, you see everything turns suddenly into like a BMW M setup with like, look, the blue is flowing in there. So there you go. Now it's all BMW M branded. You'll notice that our front driver zone has changed its display as well. Obviously you can still choose the content that you want to see in there. Really easy to do. And that will match heads-up display over there, which again you can move to here and choose what you want to show up in there. But yeah, easy to change all the content in here. It matches the physical world around us in the car, as well as the interactive light bar. The light bar's clever. If I open this and a car's coming, that's going to glow red, you know, all that kind of good interactive stuff. But it also houses other bits and pieces. Actually, before I do that, let me show you some other things. So within Sport here, if I go into settings, because I selected Sport, it's taken it into the Sport driving mode as well, where we can adjust damping, dynamics, and all the other bits. So that is actually set to the My Modes button. Then if we go into Efficient, you can see once again the color changes. And the whole ambience of the car changes as well in lieu of that. And you'll see something here called Activate Maximum Range. This is a mode where it will get rid of the mod cons of the car, reduce the power to give you maximum range 15 to 25% more when you really need it. And as an EV driver, I really appreciate that, because there have been moments when you do need that element. Then we go back into My Modes. You've seen Expressive already. Relax is one that closes the sunroof and gives you a more kind of cosseting experience than digital art here. And you see everything goes purple. That's a bit too much for me. I mean, what's going on there? That's just very confusing. No, we will go back to Sport. Thank you very much. Now, the other cool stuff that the interactive bar houses is your vent control, which if I show you over here, you can control the amount of airflow from the vent here, and then you can control the vent physically from down here from these switches. And that's the same on that side over there. But then you're wondering, where is the vent? Well, it's actually hidden within here, which is quite clever. So that's hidden there on that side and on that side. So you've got this uninterrupted, lovely front dash here, but the vents are actually within there. The other little detail I really like was the Bowers & Wilkins speaker covers there. And of course you've got carbon fiber littered around here as well, which is very nice. One cool little detail is that they've got dual smartphone chargers here as well. So not just one now. Now you and your passenger can both charge your phones in there, which is a nice little detail. And of course you've got lighted cup holders, which matches whatever you've got in terms of the theme up above here in our operating system. Drive unit, I'm so happy to have, forget the drive unit for a minute, having the iDrive system here, so much safer. Yes, you can use touch and all of that, but the fact that we've got this and we can use it while driving to, you know, be just a lot safer in terms of using this system here really, really makes me happy. So again, well done BMW for maintaining this in here for those of us who are more safety conscious than just wanting to mess around with silly touchscreens all the time. Now, we have some burger menus across a lot of buttons of this car. For example, this one takes you to your driving settings, and then all your driving settings are within there. This burger menu here is for your seat, and when you tap it, it takes you straight into seat settings, which is good. So you've got buttons where you need them, but then the help of the digital side when you want to go deeper into the experience. Now, operating system has moved to 8.5 in BMW now, and you'll notice our home screen is no longer the big widget one. Now it's a 0 layer of maps with some shortcuts at the bottom here for home, etc., which always stay there alongside your climate control, and then your widgets now sit on this side instead. And another cool thing that's returned is the typical 8 shortcuts that you used to have, you know, across the bottom here. BMW owners used to love them. Now you have that as you swipe down, and you can assign those to whatever you want them to be, which is great. Then you know something weird here, which is called Air Console Games. So much like the new E-Class, you can actually play video games here, multiplayer or otherwise, sitting in your 5 Series. And they've added another thing that that car has as well. It's funny how all these manufacturers are doing things at the same time. Hey BMW, take a selfie.
Absolutely. Smile for the camera.
Cheese. So it's allegedly taken a picture of me. Let's go into gallery and take a look. Oh my God. Oh my, what is going on? Yeah, that's not great. Anyway, you can do that if you want. I mean, I'm sure kids will have fun with that. But yes, there's a lot more change in here. I'm not doing it justice at the moment. We will do that when we do a full drive of the car. One little thing I don't like, the gear selector here being this silly diamond knobby thing. Hopefully the full M5 will have a proper gear selector with the correct drive unit. We will see in the future. As far as the rear of the car, nice and spacious, lots of USB-C ports as well. The wheelbase is grown by like 20 millimeters, so you've got a bit more space in the rear. Good headroom, unlike a lot of EVs, etc., because this is a normal 5 Series. It's going to be a nice place to sit, particularly with that pan roof. So that is the interior of your new 5. I think merging the traditional and the modern world really well. The proof in the pudding will be in driving, and that will undoubtedly be soon. So my friends, that is your new G60 5 Series. Huge, huge leap forward. And the best thing about it, I keep ranting on about it, is how whether you get electric or you get combustion or you get plug-in, the car looks like this. And I think it's absolutely the right way to do it. I think the car looks amazing. I can't wait to see the touring. I can't wait to see the new M5, which is going to be incredible as well. But that's all for the future, as well as the drive. For now, that is your brand new 5 Series. I hope you enjoyed this episode of RBR. If you have, please do like and hit that subscribe button, please. And I'll see you guys next time.